G'day guys, welcome to the reveal of this 1-35 Panther D. I just wanted to do a quick video just to show you guys how it turned out. I'm very happy how it actually did turn out. Considering there's only my third armor piece I've done in about, it'd have to be 10 years. It'd have to be 10 years since I actually built my last 1-35. I think it was like a Panzer 4, I think it was, and a half track and a diorama. So what I want to talk about in this video here is just the finishing touches that I actually done. The last video that I think it was just a progress update video, and I was almost finished. I just want to talk about the tracks. It had no metallic highlights, or the final highlights that I had on there. Also, I've done some more chipping. The end of the barrel I wasn't happy with, of the muzzle. I wasn't happy with it, so I had to redo that. And also the toe cables. But I'll start off with the tracks, because it's what I've been asked about the most lately, whether it's via personal messages on my YouTube channel, or some of you guys out there on the International Scale Modeler Facebook page. I haven't got this up in the forum, guys, so I do apologise. One of these days I'll pull my finger out of my date, and I'll start jumping on the forum and spending more time on it. But I mean, for the time being, Facebook works well for me. It's quick, it's easy. I like uploading the photos in full high definition, so you actually see more detail. It's just a lot clearer, which I think that's a bonus for me. I think I do like seeing the photos in full HD, where you can really see the detail and learn a lot from just looking at them closely. So I'll start with the tracks. John Frackleton, and don't shoot me if I pronounce your name wrong. It's I do apologise, John. You asked me today, and I do apologise that I didn't really get back to you quickly, because I was at work and I was in the truck, so texting and driving is kind of a no-no to anyone. It's pretty dangerous, so boys and girls, don't text and drive. So getting back to your question, John, you did ask me if I made a tutorial video or how to on this on the tracks. I wish I did, but because in the brief comment that I did make to you on the on my post on the ISM Facebook page, I did make a brief comment that was I did use all clads. What I used was all clads, lacquer based paints, and the UMP the washers that they have, the clay based washers. But to get sort of more in depth without going without making this a 4.5 hour video, it was basically I won't get into construction of the construction of the tank, the track system itself, because a lot of you guys are really good at it, and to be honest, what mine turned out, the actual assembly was a bit how you going, and I am going to point out the mistakes that I did make. So if you can see along the front here, mainly on the front, number one mistake, I shouldn't have put these mud guards on first. I should have glued them on last. Okay, that's where I've learnt my lesson. Like I said before, there's only my third tank that I've built, and the last ones I actually did build never had these. It's just a completely different obviously different tank, different construction, the way they look. So I shouldn't have put those on. Reason being, it made it very, very hard to get the front parts of these track system in there. So you will notice that there is a gap between the cog, and I'm going to call it cogs, I don't know what the hell it's called. All you tank armour guys that have been doing it for years and years and years can correct me if you want, just so I know. I found that really hard to put on there, so I basically had to construct the track system itself the best I can, and then sliding it back. I mean, you can see where I screwed up here as well. Like it should be flat, like this back half here. This one's here's all round. So Hendrik, if you're watching this, it's not as good as what you think it is. It's pretty shit, mate. That's all around there. That ain't touched even on both. Oh, it's a bit better on the front, this side here. Oh, maybe I was just lucky. But I had to slide the whole thing in, and that front part was only about that much worth of chain link or track link. Slid that in, and I could glue them in. I mean, one side I didn't even glue on the top here, if I can find it. Oh, it's this one here. I had troubles because the glue had already set on there, and it was basically just thought, it's hidden by the skirt. You're not really not going to see it unless you like pick it up and look down there. So it doesn't matter. I'm not too fussed with it. So like I said, it's not a competition piece. It's something that's nice that I can look at on my shelf, and it's at the end of the day, it's done. Maybe that's the wrong attitude, but yeah, I'm sorry guys. So put the tracks on, but painted the tracks themselves off the tank. This is like in all clad 2 lacquer gloss black base. So that's a really glossy black base, which dried pretty quick. I then gave it a hit with this all clad 2 steel. Let that dry, and I used Citadel's Bado Black. Once the steel had dried, by memory, I don't think I glossed it. I'm pretty sure I just put the Bado Black in there because I wanted to darken that steel color down. I didn't want it to just like a typical wash or panel line wash. I didn't want that effect. I wanted the whole steel to be darker. Once that was darkened up, I gave it a dry brush with natural steel, just from Vallejo model color. Just gave that a dry brush just to sort of pick out the raised detail, I guess, without being it wasn't what's the word I'm looking for? It wasn't overpowering, if that makes any sense, guys. It was just subtle enough that you could see that it was highlighted without it being really strong. And after that, I did wash it with a polyurethane gloss varnish from Vallejo, and then I basically just drowned it with dark dirt from UMP. Just caked it on there, let that dry for about half an hour. Well, basically when you look at it, you'll see it's dry. It just looks like a pigment. It's just turns really matte, and you'll know it's dry. And then once I let that dry, I caked on the mud carefully, because I didn't want the two to blend together. Because if you rub it, as soon as you reactivate the UMP wash with any wet, whether it's water or another wash, it'll just come back alive again. So I didn't want to sort of move it around too much. So to get around that problem, I actually used a big brush in a palette, just decanted some of this wash into a little palette thing. This thing to be exact, use that. Okay, I chucked it in there, and I just basically dabbed the wash on there. I didn't want to rub it or especially don't go with the direction where the recessed lines are, because you'll just basically just mix it up, drag it out, and it'll just disappear. So basically just carefully just dumped it on there, heaps of it, let it dry, and I did clean it off a little bit with a paper towel, just on the top, just rubbed it all back, sealed it all off, and I've got this stuff that I've made up, and so I know what it is, I just call it a pigment binder, which is a very, very diluted Vallejo polyurethane matte varnish. If I can find it, I can show you whether I've got it in hand, or it might be hiding. Yep, she's hiding it. Oh no, it's not. It's here. Yeah, just this stuff, guys. Just the Vallejo polyurethane matte varnish. Some of that. And diluted the crap out of it. 10 mils, well, it's a 30 ml bottle. Okay, so these are 30 mils. So 10 mils of the matte varnish to 20 mils of water. Like, I only used water, I didn't use any thinners, or didn't put any what do you call it, any special mediums in there, or it's just plain old water. So basically 2 parts water to 1 part matte varnish, because I just want it really thin. Because if you make it too thick, you're going to start building up on the layers in the detail, and you lose it. So just very, very thin, just to hold the pigment down. And then once all that dried, I just went over it with a lead pencil, 2B lead pencil. Just basically, just dragging it over the tank tracks like so, just to pick out the edge highlighting, or edge highlight the thing, and not so much where, like, I mean, it's going to be on the bottom, so it's not going to matter, so I can show you anyway. Like, you don't want it so much on there where all your parts just turn into like a metallic finish. Like, you don't want everything. Like, I just wanted just enough to show that the thing underneath, or the material underneath, is actually steel. So I just done that. So that's pretty much how I've done the tracks, John. I mean, like, I'm definitely and I'll admit to it, I'm definitely no expert at it. I'm still learning myself. I hope that sort of helps a little bit of how I've done the tracks. I mean, there are a lot of tutorials out there on YouTube of people actually using all clads. Maybe Paul from ISM has done one, I'm not too sure. Don't quote me, because he has got a lot of videos out there, so he's more than likely he's done one, and if he hasn't, I mean, it's going to be how do I say it, there's going to be one up anyway. Like, if there's a technique out there that he does, he's going to make a video of it. That's just the way Paul is. And I mean, Paul does great videos, they're really clear, and he does get the odd abuse. So, but like, he doesn't take shit from anyone, which is good. So that's how I've done the tracks, John. If you want any more, if you want to know any more, I'll try and drum up some old track links that I've still got left over, and I'll try and do a quick tutorial for you, if you want, that is, if you want me to do one for you, so you can see it. The chipping, I mean, I think I've pretty much done a video, done a quick ravel on about how I've done the chipping effects on this thing. And if you did happen to miss my last video, it's basically just a barbecue kebab skewer thing with a alligator clip you just get from the electronics store. I mean, they're cheap as chips, guys. Like, they just make, yeah, next to nothing. If you go there all the time, most of the time they'll give you a couple of extra for nothing, because the way I get them is they're all separate. They don't come. You just basically pick them out of a box and go, I want these. You know, you're not paying for the packaging, so it's pretty cheap. Just a bit of dense foam. I think I got these out of a Games Workshop Citadel model kit, but I mean, you can just go to your foam shop if you got like a foam and rubber place, which we do in Australia. I'm not going to say any company names because I don't want to get raped for copyright laws and shit like that. It's just dense foam, and you can basically just treat it as your dry brushing, like but probably just the tiniest bit wetter or a bit more paint than you would if you're dry brushing. Basically just dip it in your palette, straight paint, don't have to thin it out or nothing, just and then just scrub the excess off on a paper towel or an old t-shirt, whatever you got, and then just basically dab gently, like you don't want to be like smashing into it like you're trying to cut up a piece of steak. Just gently, I mean, if you got to dab the spot 5 or 6 times just to get a bit of paint on there, that's what you're gonna have to do, because you're better off putting small amounts on there instead of just going bang, 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 and then you just end up painting your model. It's really hard to get off, but as the old saying goes, you can always put more on, but it's really hard to take it off once it's on, because you have to repaint it and all sorts of mucking around, all sorts of parts like that. And then, like, and if watching this video, guys, if you want to see any techniques that I'm talking about here, swing me a message. Like, I'm more than happy to demonstrate these techniques in full, I guess you could say. It's just that the amount of time that I do get, I mean, I'm lucky to even get time to make this video now, guys. I've got a bit of spare time, so I thought I'd just do this reveal video. It's probably a bit longer. I do like to make my videos a little bit longer than other people's, just so the pure fact is, I think a lot of things are missed. I mean, it's all good and well making a photo slideshow with a bit of music in the background, but like I said before, like, so many things are missed, like it's how they done it, why they done it, what dramas they ran into and how they got around it, and it's and little questions like I asked before, if you guys want to see videos or whatever, you can ask them things. Which is quite frustrating with some people's videos. I mean, like, the models are absolutely brilliant. Like, they're just jaw dropping to see the reveals. But to me, what lets it down is, you sort of see, say for example, you see the tank from this side, and the next photo it's from this side or whatever. I think a lot of detail is missed in the reveal videos and the explanation part of things, like you could say. So which is why I tend to crap on a lot in my videos. So that was the chipping, guys. The barrel ends, you've probably seen it in my last video. Like, it looked, to be honest, it didn't look realistic. I actually had metallic highlights on the end. Why I done it, I don't know. So it was just a simple matter of getting my airbrush and spraying away from, like, I took the turret off, so while spraying it, I just had like a bit of paper towel here just to catch the excess, and I just basically sprayed away from the tank. Don't spray towards the turret, because what will happen is, any overspray that you miss, you're going to go up the barrel and all over the front of your turret here, and you're just going to make a mess, and you're going to have to do it all again. So that way, if you spray away from, spray towards the front of the muzzle, Yeah, you're not gonna run into that problem of overspraying your tank, so you just carefully rotate it around. But the actual colours I used was just chocolate brown from Metallery, just a really dark, well, yeah, chocolate brown, and surprisingly adding life colour to it didn't hurt it. I thought it was gonna, yeah, just, I took a gamble, like I hope it doesn't sort of mix up and doesn't go all gooey or, you know, just turn into a gloopy mess inside the airbrush cup. So yeah, then I just added the black with a paintbrush. Like I didn't pour it in, just sort of added bit by bit, and then done the next section, just sort of blended it in, and the final obviously added more black, sprayed all that out, and just ran straight black on the very end. So if you can see it there, you can see the colour change ever so slightly. I'll whack my hand there, hopefully that'll, okay, you can see it, like it is there. And then maybe someone out there is probably going to say, well, it's too black or whatever. I mean, yeah, I just wanted to break up the colour, guys. I didn't want, you know, this whole barrel to be just the one colour, you know. So that's what I was after. And the cables themselves were, one's brass wire, like that's the brass one, you know, that's thinner, and the other one's just standard plastic one you get in the kit, but I kept the ends on this one, so basically cut the guts in the middle, just went snip with a pair of clippers, and then drilled a hole in the end and glued the brass wire in there. Let the CA dry, super glue, CA, what do you want to call it. Let that dry. I primed it with dark grey Vallejo Polyurethane Primer, which I've mixed up myself. It's just the white and the grey, but if you guys out there actually use the grey primer, it's a very light grey. So I basically, yeah, I've got, you know, for you guys who buy it, yeah, it's just the 200ml bottles. I think these things are, yeah, 200. I mean, see the grey difference there, even just in there, it's almost a white, like a very light case grey. So yeah, it's made up 50-50 mix of just I think black and white, I think it was, and just ended up with that. So I just, yeah, so I sprayed in that, and then sprayed it, and then I ran a bit of let that dry. Didn't let it dry overnight, guys. It's just because I wasn't sanding it back or anything. Like, if you're not sanding it back, polyurethane, I find, for me anyway, that polyurethane primer, you can pretty much spray over it within a couple of minutes, as long as it's not on there too thick, and you know, it's dry. But if you are going to sand it, let it dry overnight, just because what's going to happen is it's just going to peel. It's going to peel off, and yeah, because it's basically a plastic. The polyurethane, it's like a plastic coating that dries on your model, which is why it's so durable when it is dried completely. But yeah, I just used a bit of model air chrome, just sprayed through the airbrush on a piece of paper. Like it took me a few goes to spray, because I had to spray one side and then let that dry, turn it over before I could handle it, and you know how it goes, fellas. And so once all that was dried, not drowned it, but yeah, I was pretty generous with the Citadel Bad Black on there. Probably used maybe 2 applications on it, so you can actually see it all in there, the Bad Black, just in there, and then sort of cleaned it up a little bit on the ends here. So I didn't really want that really black, but if you notice the cable itself compared to this part, or this part here, it's actually, yeah, still fairly silverish, but it's still got that black wash tone to it. Let that dry, and and this is how simple it was. And once again, I've never really painted toe cables before. I'm only sort of picturing what they look like on when I go on construction sites and I see cranes and things like that. I sort of take note of what the cables look like, and it's just a really dirty silver color, but which is why I got away with using chrome, because I didn't want it. I still wanted that silver to pop through without it being too dark. And so once all that was dried, chrome, Bado black wash, let it dry, and then I just basically got that same 2B lead pencil again, and then just not using the tip of the pencil, but using treat it like a paintbrush, and use the edge of the brush, like just the tip of the side of the lead itself, and then just rubbed it back and forward just to highlight the actual cable itself. Done the same here, and there's a lot of points that I did pick out on the tank, like in here. So if you're wondering how I've done all the highlighting on the panel in there, I don't have the light will pick it up. I can hang on. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, guys, but maybe it will once I put it back on the big TV. And yeah, so all around in here, where is it? So all along this crack here, all along here, and all around the edges of the engine intakes is lead pencil, guys. That's it. If you only just want subtle effects, like, I mean, I've tried it with a paintbrush and I suck. Like, I get paint everywhere, and I may put too much pressure and the tip of the brush bends and paint goes somewhere which I don't want. And if you make a mistake, the beauty of lead pencil is you make a mistake, you can just get an eraser or a rubber, what we call in Australia. You can get an eraser and just clean it up. Also, you can also just draw really, really fine little chips. If you just want like a little scratch, like, you can just draw the scratch on without worrying about too much paint going on. So that's pretty much it, guys. It's all been sealed up. I mean, all I've got to do now is just give it probably a semi-gloss coat, just to seal it all in, and I'll probably just matte base the bottom, like matte coat the bottom, and then from the skirts up around the back I'll probably just semi-gloss it. And what I left off was the radio antenna that goes on the back here, because knowing my luck, I'll knock it off and the paint's going to come off and blah blah blah. You know how it goes. It's when you get something fragile and it just gets knocked off. And also the little hinges on the front here for the mud guards, I didn't put them on as well because they're so small, and I guarantee I'm going to knock them off too. So it's just so that's pretty much it. Hope I've covered everything. I mean, if there's anything, and there's always something I'm going to miss too, so that's the reveal, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. See you, bye.